Welcome to the Veterans Growing America podcast. I am Coach Rob Simmons. I am here with my illustrious co-host, Donnell Johns, and we have a special one for you today. She is a business champion and strategist, Michelle Gardner-Ince. Welcome to the show, young lady.
Thank you so much. Also known as GI. I've had that call sign handle for 34 years. It's a first name, it's a last name, it's a noun, it's a verb, and it's even an adjective. It's my pleasure to be with you.
We got some heat on us today, huh?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Hey, so we're going to jump right into it. We are going to jump right into it. Can you share a little bit about your military experience and background?
Absolutely. I am a little Black girl from Georgia, born to one of the first Black Army Corps of Engineer officers and the 1973 Army Wife of the Year. I come from an extremely high-performing family. My brother was also an Air Force veteran, an SES at 35. He's now retired, has his own business. So I say that to say I've never been without a military ID card. I was born with one and have had the distinct pleasure of serving my country as a military brat, a military wife, and a military member. I'm married to an amazing man, Brian Ince, the I in GI. He is my partner, my supporter, and the wind beneath my wings. I couldn't do what I do. He's quiet excellence. He's happy in the background, but be assured, he's handling his own business. I'm the mother of two amazing adult children who have had the experience of living all over the world, and you can see that in all that they do. But most of all, I want to say that I am a person who's had the honor of serving military members, veterans, and their families through entrepreneurship for 40 years.
I love it. I love it. And so you say that you come from a huge background of military veterans and other people within the military community. The biggest question I want to know is from your family dynamic is that and how you perform today, is that pressure or is it standard?
A little of both. My dad said excellence is colorblind. He retired as an '06. He said excellence is colorblind and genderless. And he also said leave deep footprints everywhere you go. And
Good.
he didn't mean that like in the standpoint of work hard everywhere, but he said if you've been there, they should know. And he challenged my brother and I to make history everywhere we go. So in every job I've ever had, I've created history. I've been a first, I've been a only, or I've been different. And that's what that Shonda Rhimes calls it a fodder. So I'm a fodder. I've been a first, a only, and a different. And I will tell you, it's not pressure, it's standard. And that comes with its own dynamic because people always think you're trying to outdo them. No, I'm trying to outdo me. And it's a shortcoming of mine. If you work for me, work with me, people will be like, oh my God, that was awesome. Oh my God, this has never been done before. And I'm thinking immediately, how can I outdo it? How can I do it better? How can I take it higher, wider, deeper? And I don't celebrate. That's probably a negative. I don't celebrate very long because I'm already at the next. So, yeah.
I love that. I love that. I like to say excellence provides freedom as well.
You better preach it.
And that's one of my things. I'm really interested in the people that are listening to the podcast are really interested in what inspired you on your mission. I know you have an amazing mission, but tell me what inspired you.
First of all, after 27 years in the military, when I said I've been serving military veterans and their families through entrepreneurship, I meant I've been in the business of business within the military ecosystem, right? That's department stores, grocery stores, hotels, restaurants, clubs, boat marinas. I've even been in charge of a 1,000-acre horse ranch, childcare centers. All of those things have to make a profit. And in the Air Force, the leadership of those entities are active duty military. So I had the rare opportunity to lead civilians who were thousands of civilians who were all about providing a service or services to the military community to enhance their quality of life. My largest job was when I was the commander of the Army Air Force Exchange. It was APIS, now it's called the Exchange. I had $1 billion portfolio, 8,000 people, 87 locations, 5 countries, 2 states. That's why I say I'm a little black girl from Georgia, because I don't know if the commercial industry would have gave this little black girl from Georgia that opportunity, and just had a blast. Could not believe that the Air Force was paying me to kiss babies, cut ribbons, and negotiate land deals. That's what I spent most of my time, because whenever we brought a new store, a new entity, we had to negotiate where we wanted to put the store with the base commander, because the base commander always want to put it over there. And we're like, no. That's not going to generate revenue. We needed to be here. And so what got me started on my mission was I had the big head. When I transitioned, I'm like, I done run $1 billion business. I'm finna jump out here and kill this game. No. First of all of the major entities, Walmart, Target, I didn't interview with Kohl's, even JP Morgan Chase, that owns the credit card, at least they did then, with the military exchanges, were all intimidated by me and wanted me to start back at ground zero. I was like, I don't think so. Y'all are saying y'all want veterans, but yet you want me. You really haven't been in this industry. You need to start back here. And no shade to JP Morgan Chase. I know they do a lot for veterans, but I did 8 interviews and ended up turning them down because they offered me basically what I was making in retirement. And I was like, I don't think so. So that drove me to start my own business. When we talked about freedom, that's one of the things entrepreneurship does. That's why I love entrepreneurship, is because it gives you an opportunity to define what success looks like. It's only limited by you. Now, granted, your clients can and your customers can dictate a little bit, but if you don't like that level, you can move to the next, because Bentley not trying to get what Mercedes-Benz is selling.
Right.
And Mercedes-Benz is not in Bentley's industry. So it's really, I would say I started a business, and I did like most veterans, I started with relationships. So there were a couple of small businesses, veteran-owned businesses, who had a need and said, hey, GI, we know you get things done. Can you do X, Y, and Z? So for almost 3 years, I was a subcontractor to several veteran-owned businesses that were doing government contract work. I failed. Now, most people wouldn't say that I failed, but guess what? I didn't know what the market value was, so they took advantage of that. I didn't understand the market. I didn't understand who I was in the market. And I didn't understand how to navigate the market. There's several things every business owner must know. You must know the market. You must know who you are in the market. You must know, what does the market need? What's the market demand? Where do I fit in? And how does the market see me? Once you figure out that part, you're off. So my passion for my mission is based out of my failure. My failure that I did not feel like I did that well, because I was going from feast to famine. I didn't include taxes and other deductions, other expenses. I didn't understand that I needed, as a consultant, you charge for your prep time, your time in front of the client, and your time after, if you got a deliverable. Didn't know any of that, because I just had the big head that I had done all this, but fishing for what I don't want to say it, eating what you catch is a whole nother game. I don't care. That's why when people transition from the military or from government, they have, I was a Corps, I was a contract, huh? Yeah. Come on over here on this other side and you'll see it ain't that simple. And so it all goes back to the market knowledge that I spoke of before, But because I failed, and what saved me was, you're going to hear a couple of themes. Understand your market and relationships. A guy that I had been in a military leadership school with called me and said, Michelle, there's a senior executive who's looking for somebody who can run stuff, fix stuff. And I immediately thought of you. So for those of you who think that the GI brand started 5 years ago, no, it started 40 years ago. Okay. I've always been known for being, some people think disruptor is a bad word, but a disruptor, a trailblazer, a pace setter, all those words are in my performance reports. And he said, are you interested? I said, yes. So that's how I came to the VA as a federal employee. God always has his perfect timing. But I was brought in to clean up the veteran certification program. And so that's why when I appeal to businesses and I appeal to talking about this government contracting, it's always with the mindset of a business owner who failed, who is talking to people that I want to help succeed. That is why how I translate my knowledge, how I learn get past there's a lot of information out there, but what's the context of what you're really trying to talk about or you're truly trying to educate them on? That's why I approach it in the way that I do, because I want people to win. Because if you're connected to me, you're gonna win, because losing is not an option. That's just, I tell people, it's just an ecosystem. Like, just the fact that I want to win, it's like iron sharpens iron. You'll want to win. I'm not telling you what to do, but it's just the energy that I generally want you to win. It's not a hater thing. I don't care if you pass me. I don't care if you do something that brings you, a big spotlight. I'm sitting over here more excited than you are, period. That's the nature of who I am. And I'll stop there because I need to let you jump in. But I'll tell you the story of why that is if I get the opportunity later.
I love it. I was just going to let you go. I got my notepad over here ready. You already know that. So tell us a little bit about your unique proposition for your mission and how are you actually helping people?
Well, so my unique proposition, although I had a business before. I started a nonprofit recently called about the business of veteran entrepreneurs. And it's all about empowerment, education, and access, helping veterans, women, minorities get access to the right information and the right people. Because the reality is what? People do business with people who they know and trust, right? You didn't hear Department of Defense does business with people who they know and trust. You didn't hear that the VA does business with who they know and trust. You heard people do business with who they know and trust. So my unique mission, I don't write proposals. I don't know nothing about proposals. I never wrote a proposal. I don't even look at solicitations because I never did that in business. I stay in the lane where I am strongest. And that is, I've always been an educator. I've always been someone who empowers others. And I've always been a person about relationships. I have never deleted a contact since the year 2000. That's 24 years. I've been transferring. I had a BlackBerry when I was a base commander in Boston. Ever since then, I've been transferring contacts from Excel sheet to Excel spreadsheet until Apple started doing it for me. And people ask me, why do I do that? Why did I do that? Because I love people. I love people even when they don't love me. And the reason is because people power excellence. You can't get to excellence. You can't do all these impossible things without people. And so while those contacts are expired, their information expired, their experience with GI and GI's experience with them never expires. It's a tool that veterans don't use enough of. If you have had a deployment, a crisis, worked in the trenches with someone, you had a significant emotional event. You are ingrained. People live life on the line. You are either an up or above that line based on that experience with them. And if that was a pleasant experience, not that the situation was pleasant, but your engagement with them, your support of them, your ability to help them win was a pleasant and enriching event, you were never forgotten. And you can pick up the phone. You can go to Facebook. All those contacts that are old. I can go to Facebook. I can go to Instagram, look up their name and find them. And in 2 hours or less, I can catch up and do an ask. There is no other entity, maybe other than cops or other people who have traumatic and not traumatic, sometimes it is traumatic, but very deeply rich emotional engagement. Can you do that? Church, maybe, but the military, because of the team environment, the mission environment, the purpose environment, allows us to ask. It allows us to ask. It allows us to leverage their influence in the area they're in that we're not in and go in on riding on the backs of their influence into doors, places we can't go.
I love that. I love that. I go all the way back to the Rolodex. I had to transcribe everything into my BlackBerry.
Exactly.
But I have a question to you about transition. So I know you transitioned from the military into different transitions. Talk to us about your transitions and how they supported you in your success.
Well, I don't know if I ever had, I don't think I really transitioned. I think my transition has been in the last 5 years. I've been retired 15 this year. The first 10, I did not transition. I just took off the uniform, but my mindset was the same. And the reason I'm focusing on mindset, a lot of people want to say, oh, what did VA give you? What did the community give you? People transitioned before all these programs came about. And truth be told, there were more veteran-owned businesses in the previous 50 years than there are now, because they came out of World War I, they came out of World War II, and they came and they used those skills and they built major businesses, or they built small businesses, very successful businesses. So the mindset of transition is the hardest part. And it goes back to, how do I see myself? What's my next mission? And I guess because I went from the military, then once these people came and asked me to do something, right? When a customer or a client asks you to do something, it's a new mission. It's a new opportunity to serve. I went directly into that. Then I got a call, right? I got a call from VA. Here's another mission, another opportunity to serve. So I just went into that. But I'll tell you what the difference is in the last 5 years. I began to understand my value. I'm divorced from being a colonel. That's why I tell everybody, call me GI. Do not call me colonel, because, and that's the reason I didn't go to work in DOD, because I knew I would never shed being, oh, that's Michelle Gardner-Ince, retired colonel, U.S. Air Force. I didn't want that. And you might say, why? You don't need a title to lead. You don't need a title to influence. And while the military gave us a lot of skills and talents and opportunities, it also limited us. It limited how we could see ourselves outside this thing called Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, Coast Guard, Space Force, etc. It said you exist and your identity is in this institution. So to me, the transition is more here. And that's why, as I teach business owners, it's so important for you to understand you. Everybody's chasing the money. Oh, DOD is spending billions of dollars. Let me run to my business over there. VA is second. Let me run it. Why? Why do you want to do business there? And if I meet another veteran that says, oh, because I'm a veteran and I know how to help them, and I say, that's really good. I understand that. But do they need what you sell? I understand that you understand the VA and that you have something to give. But just because you have something to give doesn't mean that there is a mission need for what you are trying to give. And that's what I mean by understanding the market. Understand the market first. Does the market need what you're trying to give it? Is what your product or your service going to solve a problem? Is it going to address an issue? And is it going to meet a need? I call it Uncle Sam because we have stuff in our rucksack and in our skill set that solve problems, address issues, meet needs. We're used to doing that, and we're used to seeing a target and we go get it. Now you have to say, how do I, in my mind, see that target? Is that my target? And a lot of times it's not your target. Just because the money is there doesn't mean your money is there. And that's what I tried to teach, because money is money. It doesn't matter whether it's government contracting, commercial, state, local, a port authority, a school district, B2B, business to individual. It doesn't matter. Money is money. And anytime you are the solution to somebody's problem, and you understand not just, oh, by the way, they need IT, they need coaching, they need HR, they need cyber. That is not specific enough. You must understand your AOR, right? Not your area of responsibility, but your area of revenue. Wherever your area of revenue is, there are unique characteristics, just like it was in the AOR. The Pacific is different than the European, than in Saudi Arabia. All those AORs are different money, culture, how they drive, language, all of that is the same in an AOR area of revenue. And so the more you understand your area of revenue, and the more it's specific, they say riches are in the niches. That's true. It's so true. If you're coaching, for instance, financial or training or HR, any of that, the people who you resonate with is the background in which you came from. You don't have to translate if you're in the Intel community and you're coaching, counseling, or training, because you know the Intel community. If you are in the aviation arena, you can go to FAA or one of the other, even a airport authority. You understand generally how the things they go through, the challenges they have. It's no excuse now because the internet has anything you want to know about any entity. Do your homework early. So it's people just aim. They're like, oh, there's a target. They fire. And then, no. You need to understand. You need a pre-deployment briefing. You need a situational brief. You need to understand what's the battle plan, strategy plan for this AOR. Because what I can assure you is once you get it, then you go fast. But most people go fast and they hit this wall because they're trying to give an industry something they don't need, or that they don't understand the industry. And they spend all this time spinning their wheels, when if they spend more time understanding, where am I supposed to be? Who am I? What would I do? And who would I serve if you didn't pay me? How do I understand their pain in a way that they don't understand themselves? Case in point, there's a guy that's on my LinkedIn Live every week, Coach Sean Austin. He is killing the game in the JP Morgan Chase training business arena. You know why? You know what he told them? Something they didn't know about themselves. He studied them. He studied JP Morgan Chase's history and found out that JP Morgan was the first financial institution to issue a government contract. They didn't even know. They were like, wow, how'd you know that? That's what it's about, knowing the client better than they know themselves. Then oh, you complete me. Where have you been all my life? And then they want to do business with you. So you can tell I'm very passionate about it, but my focus is on relationships. Understanding your target market, understanding who you are in the market, understanding what your value is to the market. And that came out of my pain.
I love it. And we're going to take this seat of mentor mentee, because a lot of the things that I learned from my mentors is from their failures. And you talked a lot about your failures earlier. We gained a lot of value in the things that you said today. But what are some of those key things from those failures that we can give to our audience today and say, hey, these are the things I definitely would or would not do. And if I did these things, I probably wouldn't have failed in that point.
It's not a new theme, but a new take on a theme. It's called, I love acronyms. I love acrostic. ABB, ABC. ABB, ABC. Always be building business and always be building relationships. ABC is always be closing, and not just closing deals, but closing gaps on the knowledge of the market and your client. Saying, in the government contracting space, most people I meet, oh, I want to get my veteran certification, my woman-owned certification, I want to get my 8A. And my question always is, veteran and woman, okay. 8A, I say, why? My point is, the first thing you need to know is, what does this information mean to me at the point in my business journey I'm at? When you are a sergeant, you don't need the same information and to do the same things as someone who is a sergeant major. Because even if you did them, you won't be good at them because you haven't had the experience. And so that's why I'm mentioning about the 8A program is a business development program. You only have 9 years. So if you don't understand how to build business before you enter that program, then what's going to happen is you waste 2 or 3 years learning how to build business and learning how to build relationships. Because, oh, by the way, you're not the only 8A company, thousands of others out there, and they have the relationships. So if they're going to do a direct award, they're calling who they know, can trust, and that's not you. So you've now wasted 3 years out of your 9 years. So know what information is important to you at this point in your business, and what do you need to do with it? Because everybody's out here doing all this stuff. The second thing is, I already talked about market. You are not special. I'm going to say that again. That's a thump in the head. You are not special. I shouldn't say that. What you do is not special and unique. You are special, and how you do that thing makes it special. So I want to say what you do is not, oh, I'm the best HR, IT, construction. No, you're not. How do you know? Are we lining you up against thousands? We're not. What makes what you do special is you and how you do that thing. So Don't come to the client. This is the second thing I'm going to say. Trying to sell them, solve it. Solve their problem, don't sell. Because if you get the opportunity to meet with the government client for 30 minutes, maybe an hour, if they really like you, they may give you more time. And you spend all your time talking about how great you are and blah, blah, and you don't know who they've been exposed to before, it's a waste of time. But what if you spent that time asking 4 or 5 questions? Because now you're on the inside of the tent and you have the ability to ask questions so that when you go back out on the other side of the tent, you now can be prepared on building teams. Oh, I don't have that capability capacity. Let me find some other people to join in this business opportunity. You know how to you understand their problem, issue, or need better, and you can craft your proposal more appropriately and more specifically. But every time you meet with a client, stop talking. Ask questions so that you know better how to solve their problem. Ask them, hey, is there any information or any question I haven't asked? Number 1. Number 2, who are the people who are going to be the decision makers on this opportunity? 3, are you willing to introduce me? 4, do you think this is going to be funded, or are there going to be anything that could possibly keep this opportunity, if you're talking about a specific opportunity, from coming into being? But ask questions that help you better position yourself when you go on the other side. And 3, last but not least, I would say, please pick one client. Not DOD, not Department of Education, not Department of Energy. Who is the person in the office with your money?
Mm.
Mm.
You know why I say that? Because it's a person or a group of people who are going to award the contract. And the better you know them, the better you understand them, the easier it will be to begin to build a relationship, which should be a partnership. You might say, people say, I don't know how to find these people. And I already gave you 1. Who are your veteran buddies that already know them? 2, where did they assemble? What conferences are they going to? Where are they speaking? And I want to say, I'm hesitant to say it, but I'm going to say it. Stop chasing these generic conferences, veteran conferences, women conferences. Where are the people with the thought leadership? Because the contracting officers are just managing a contract file in general. They make sure it's administratively correct. They make sure it meets the federal acquisition regulation. They make sure the pricing is right. They gather the technical evaluation team, but they're not your customer. They're not the people who is going to be the beneficiary of your services. So that's why you're looking for a person, right? Because once you find that person, and oh, by the way, not just because I'm on LinkedIn, magic, an untapped resource. There are 1 billion people on LinkedIn. Less than 3% post. Free marketing. I'm just saying. Second of all, if you put in the search block the title, this is why you must understand the organization you're trying to serve. If you say, I'm looking for the chief financial officer or the financial executive, comma, the name of the organization, and you hit enter, it will give you everybody who had that title, had it before, and currently have it. Then you can sort it by state. You can sort it by organization. You don't even have to put the comma and put the it will tell you, oh, these people are in work for Department of Education and they're in Europe. If that's your target market, guess what? Use your veteran status for good. Hello, I'm GI. I am passionate about serving children in Europe I see that you are the director of yada, yada, yada from your research, other places, they do this and this. I would love to have the opportunity to talk to you about how I want to serve military children abroad. I'm a service disabled veteran. I started my business because I have a love for teaching. I've homeschooled my children, whatever your story is. Tell it. You may get a lot of no's, but here's what I'll tell you. There's somebody who will have a connection to the military and will say yes and give you a 30-minute session. And then I tell people, please do not get in that session and ask them what's on the internet. Ask them something you can't find. Those are the things I would tell. I just gave you a masterclass, right?
Yeah. And I get to rewind it.
Over and over and over again.
Yeah.
The one thing that I heard is you gave them the GPS grid coordinates to success.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
The GPS grid coordinates, because what success looks like, and we do this every day, we put on the address to the location that we're going, and then we drive to that location. So if you don't put in 12 different locations, you just put in one. You just put in one.
Absolutely.
So, thank you so much for sharing that.
And I want to say why one. I didn't tell you why one. John Maxwell says, I'm a John Maxwell coach, been following him for before he even had a coaching program. I still put in the VHS tests, make my own PowerPoints, etc. But he says, go outside and hit the tree 5 times every day and it'll fall over. Well, in order for it to fall over, you must hit it in your same place every single time. And when you are hitting up here, hitting there, you're cutting a branch off here. Yes, that's activity, but it's not going to make the tree fall over. And picking one client, being very focused on getting to know them, date one gal, date one guy, right? That's the reason why I said one. It's a speed to success.
I love that. I love that. And so speaking of the one, tell us how the one or where the one is going to be within the next 3 to 5 years.
Oh my gosh. I don't want to scare people because I have such a great vision, so much work to do. First of all, book, definitely going to write books, speaking, training. And I want to bring together veterans like yourself, right? So I've always had a dream of creating a consortium because our intellectual capital is so rich and we're giving it to other people and they're getting rich. So why not bring it together? Everybody has their own business, but we do business collectively. And that doesn't mean all of us do business together on everything. That means if it's in your strength area, you're on this mission. If you're not, you're staying back at home and you're doing your own thing. But I've always had a dream to do that. And just I have a dream to be sitting across from Gail King or a lot.
That's wonderful. And I have one last question, a selfish question about VGA. Tell the audience your experience with VGA.
Oh my God. Can I go back to the beginning when I met you? Has it been almost 5 years ago? 4 years ago?
Yeah.
Almost 4 years ago. I think that you had just started it, met you at the Association of the U.S. Army. And I'm just going to say it was love at first sight. I love, as I said, I love people, but there are people that you meet and it's like Mary and Martha, John and Jesus leaped in the womb in recognition of each other. And that's how it was for Sergeant Major. I never call him Donnell. And that goes back to the fact that I worked for an E9 Chief Master Sergeant when I was a lieutenant. And I proudly say that because he taught me about leading people. And I was just excited to hear your vision, even more like overwhelmed at just having a front row seat and watching how you built community, how you built visibility as well as economic benefits for our veteran community, and the way in which you do it with such fun and such intention. And so I've been out to your place out in Woodbridge. Absolutely amazing, exciting that you're going to be adding some more locations. And I'm here. All you got to do is call me. You have my influence, you have my endorsement, and you have my mentorship. Anytime, any place, anywhere you call, I am there. I'm honored just to know you and to see what you're doing. And it inspires me. It inspires me to come on, girl, keep it going. Let's go.
Let's go. I love that. Thank you so much. I'm gonna hand it over to my trusty co-host, Rob.
Yeah, I get to do my favorite part, ask more questions. No, Michelle, we're gonna close the show out, and we definitely thank you for being on. But before we get out of here, do you have any parting words for the guests?
Focus, focus, focus. Date one guy, date one gal, one client, get to know them better than they know themselves, solve their issue, problem, or meet their needs. You do that, and as they say, your gift will make room for you. You'll never be out of business. Always be building business and be building relationships. Always be closing because it's about the Benjamins. We got to close, and always be closing the gap because your clients change just like anybody in any relationship changes. You want to be understanding them because political environments drive client needs, issues, and problems. Yep. Can I give a quick business blessing as I close out? Look for me on LinkedIn every Wednesday. I'm there with demystifying government contracting, connections, conversation, and celebration all around, helping people understand this government contracting game. But I close every session out with a prayer inspired by the prayer of Jabez. And it goes like this: May God bless you, bless you, bless you indeed. May He enlarge your territory. May He increase your influence. May He prosper your business. May He keep you from evil. And may He keep evil from you. May God bless you. May God bless you indeed. I'm GI. It's been my pleasure, my mission, and my ministry to share a few of my thoughts with you. And I can't thank you enough.
Oh, what a blessing. What a blessing. And we really, really, truly appreciate you for coming on. Donnell, how can folks continue to support VGA?
I just want to first of all say thank you so much, GI, for being on our podcast. And I love that you said focus because there's an acronym that goes with it. Follow one course until success, right? Focus. And that's what we do at VGA. Our course has always been the same, is to spotlight our veteran and military spouse entrepreneurs and to showcase their business. And that's what we do at VGA. We're opening up our second location in Maryland. We're looking for veterans, military spouses, and dependents that sell a product because we believe the entire family serves. So be a part of what we do. If you have a business or you have business questions or anything, reach out to us. We're on all social media platforms to include YouTube, where you'll be able to find this episode. And shop, baby.
Hi, baby. And
Shop.
GI, thank you again for coming on and blessing us with your presence and so much information. I'm actually overwhelmed. And thank you for your mentorship. We are over and out.